The grief is such a heavy emotion, and it is a difficult path to walk. You have truly unlocked that high achieving mode.
Yeah.
And all the bonuses are when you heal, your situation, your marriage, your work, your business, your sales, your bank account starts healing.
How do we find the right person for us?
$1 million question.
Hi, welcome to Charity Charcha. Today we have with us Lydia Binil, who is a holistic success and trauma recovery practitioner. Lydia has helped over 8,000 people achieve their goals, be it being more healthy, being more successful, attracting more money, or simply achieving their career goals and finding their mental peace. And today, Lydia is here with us to spill the tea on how to heal your trauma and achieve success in your life. So welcome, Lydia. I'm very happy that you have decided to join us today.
Such a pleasure to be here, Soumya.
So I must say that trauma is a very sensitive subject, especially in India. And the societal pressure doesn't encourage us to really talk about it. In fact, we are told to kind of sweep it under the rug, just move on. So I'm very thrilled that this is giving us the opportunity to shed light on this much needed topic. So how do you feel about people's perception related to trauma, and do you struggle to tell them that, okay, if this is happening to you, it is because of the trauma that you have faced?
Such a powerful question, and it is very important to address this as well, because when we talk about these big words called trauma, right? Trauma, that word itself is so traumatizing. Right? When we talk about that, people are like, you're going into a pity party, or you're going to go into the sulking mode. You have to get up. You have to go forward, move forward, right? Right? And that's not what is helping you in the long run. That doesn't help you in the long run, because trauma is not something that happens to you. Trauma is your response to something that is happening around you, which you never expected. Right? And that affects 5 key areas of your life, right? So one is your success. It affects your success. We think that success is a different part of our being. It's not. Trauma affects your success. Trauma affects your money situation. It affects your relationship. It could be within marriage. It could be parent and child. It could be you and your parents. It could be your friendships or your even work relationships. Right? Then trauma affects your mental peace.
Absolutely.
Right? I don't think no one even gives weight to that. But it is that unsaid current that can bog us down or lift us up. Right? That inner peace, that mental peace that we all carry. And then the 5th thing is our health. Right? And no one even talks about how trauma affects your health. Right? And that's when we get to the crux of it, it affects your physical being, your emotional being, and your mental being as well. And it is deeper than we think, because we think that, I don't remember this phase of my life. I actually had a perfect childhood. Right? Clients always come to me like that, but they have all symptoms of trauma in their life, right? And then they are like, no, my body remembers it. And at the right time, your body will show up with symptoms. Symptoms are not always a bad thing. It is a screaming
help from the body.
Exactly. It is a screaming situation from the body asking, hey, just give me that help. I want to heal. I'm ready to heal.
Absolutely. And you are so right that we don't really get to address trauma, especially with the type of society we live in. Parents just want us to become high achievers and, get successful in life. So, I must say that, I have accomplished so much that I never thought I would be able to by the age of 32. I always thought I'll reach these goals by I'm 60. So I already have achieved, neck pain, shoulder pain, backache, all these things I thought I'll get once I'm 60. But here we are. I'm a high achiever. So yes, absolutely.
You have truly unlocked that high achieving mode. And all the bonuses are these pains. And jokes aside, coming to that, I have been there too. Just because I had this space doesn't mean I have not been there. I have been there. I can feel what you feel.
Right.
I have felt in my body what you feel. And even today, if I'm not careful about my mind, body, life connection, this can slowly creep back to become my reality.
Wow. Yeah. So, Lydia, the pain the physical pain that I feel in my body, are you suggesting that those are because of trauma, some hidden trauma that I have?
There is a high possibility, and I'm not the first person to bring this research out, right? When we go online, there are so many people who've done research in this space, somatic psychology, that suggests so much of in-depth research that, for example, cancer.
Yeah.
When it shows up in your body, it shows up as a diagnosis. But what is behind the cancer could be suppressed emotions.
Oh my God.
Years of suppressed emotions.
Okay.
Yeah. And it could be unprocessed trauma finally showing up in your body, because Dr. Bruce Lipton, right, he talks about how these show up in your body and changes your genetic expression.
Oh my God. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And let's talk about, when we talk about diabetes, it could be related to a financial loss at that particular point in time.
Okay.
And your body processes it through elevating your sugar levels up. So there is clear distinction between, there is clear connection between what is happening in your mind and what is happening in your body. Your thoughts, your emotions, what has happened to you, through you, takes physical real estate.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. And yes, I think you are right, because this one time, 2024, personally was a very difficult year for me. My family went through loss, and
To hear that.
thank you. And I was grieving, but on surface, I was just doing my job. I was, going through my day-to-day life, and I didn't think I was that much, impacted or affected negatively. Like I thought I was doing fine. And then just one day out of the blue, I had these chest pains, and doctor said that I had a panic attack. And I was like, how? But I'm okay. So I was not showing any, at least I thought I was not showing any obvious signs of stress, but doctor said it was the grief that was causing the stress on your body. So yes, I think physical symptoms absolutely, emotions resonate. Yeah.
Totally. Now, an analogy is coming to me when you spoke about that.
Yeah.
Right? The grief is such a heavy emotion, and it is a difficult path to walk.
Yeah.
Right? And it is a loss of, it could be a loss of a person, could be a loss of a place.
Yeah.
So some of my clients who've migrated to another country, they feel they've lost their homeland.
Right.
And they need that time to grieve it. And that has shown in depression and bipolar disorder for them, right? In their body.
Okay.
Right? So when you went through that grief, you thought everything was totally fine.
Yeah.
So an analogy of laptop is coming to me. So just a couple of days back, I went to the shops to give my laptop because my laptop was doing its own thing.
Yeah.
I was not, I was not operating it, but it was doing its own thing. It was opening, closing.
Oh.
And when I took it to the shops, he looked at it and he opened the back end and whatever.
Yeah.
All the tabs, all the internet browsers, everything was closed. There was nothing that was working actively.
Oh, okay.
And he looked at the back end and he was like, he showed me the memory, right? The RAM. It was a 16 GB RAM. And you could see that more than 8 GB was being used.
Okay.
While nothing was open.
Oh, okay.
Right? And I could see that now I'm telling you why, because he told me.
Yeah.
And he was like, Lydia, your laptop is virus infected. And I was like, okay, how do you say that? He was like, the virus is running at the back end and more than half your capacity, the memory of your computer is taken. You can see it's working, and I can see it's actually actively working.
Oh, okay.
And it reduced the performance. What I wanted to do with the computer was not happening, and it was controlling its own thing.
Yeah.
But it looked like no program is running on it.
Yeah.
And when you said about your difficult time, about your grief in your family, it might look like, okay, I'm fine.
Yeah, true.
I'm fine. I'm going day to day, right?
Yeah.
But this grief takes physical real estate in your body, and that's how it impacts our being.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think, yes, you are very right. And those are hidden causes which are giving us the stress. This brings me to that another question, that there are also some very visible and external causes that are giving us stress. So many of my friends are, living with their in-laws, and sometimes it's not the most ideal situation, and society expects a lot from a daughter-in-law, and they are juggling it, basically burning out at both fronts, home front and office. And it's not like you can move out or live separately. Sometimes that is not an option. Sometimes your own parents, it becomes challenging to be in the same space as them. So when you know that you are getting stressed because of these people or because of the behavior of these people, and they're pushing your buttons, but you cannot remove yourself from that space, what do you do then?
It's not always an option for all of us, right? Or
Yeah.
any of us to just remove ourselves physically from that
Yeah.
place, because it is probably not possible. I know some people who've left countries because of all of these tension and friction in the family. But as you rightly said, it's not a possibility for most of us. So what do we do, right?
Yeah.
So first thing, I would love whoever's watching today, right, to think that if we can't remove ourselves physically, we need to learn this very important skill that can save so much of stress, anxiety, and panic attack by learning how to remove ourselves mentally.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Right? How to dissociate mentally from this person, this situation, which is going to be a constant.
Right.
Right?
Right.
You might have to do dinners together. You might have to see each other's face every day, right?
Yeah.
You might have to share lots of spaces, and it can be a small space, right?
Yeah.
So these people, I'm not saying these are our family members, right? These are our family members. So I'm not here to blame anyone, but I'm here to talk about how can you be well, and how can you have your boundaries in a healthy way, so that you are in control of your wellness and not be affected by what is coming to you.
Absolutely.
Right? So the first thing is, how do you dissociate mentally from whoever is pushing your buttons, right?
Right.
So how do we do that? These people, whoever is a botheration for us, right?
Yeah.
They actually thrive on, I'm not saying they're toxic people, but they could have toxic behaviors, and that could stem from their trauma.
Right.
Their childhood trauma, how their mother-in-law or father-in-law or their neighbors have treated them. We don't know their story, their narrative, but they become who they are today. Doesn't matter if it's our parents or in-laws or whoever that is.
Right.
But they might have some toxic traits which might affect us today.
Yeah.
Right? So dissociating yourself, the first thing, how do you do that? Learn how to respond and react.
Okay.
When we react in anger, reaction is anger, frustration, irritation, throwing words, all those are reaction. That is because we are human.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
But response teaches you a pattern. It allows you to calm your nervous system down and take your control back.
Right.
This is my space.
Yeah.
This is Lydia. I'm not in a controlling way that I will control others, but I want to control or look after my wellness, my little space. So when we actually start learning to respond than react, that doesn't feed their cycle.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
So it breaks the current there.
Yeah.
And they feel like, okay, she's not reacting the way she was. Okay, it's not annoying her anymore. And you will actually start seeing that change in them as well.
Yeah.
And they will start introspecting. But again, we are not here to change them.
Right.
We can't change them. If we are going to start seeking validation from them all the time, or asking, expecting them to apologize, or that might not happen. Might happen, might not happen.
True.
So when our controllables are coming from a healthy place, that will really help.
Yeah.
Number 2, if we can come up with probably 2 micro habits. How can I dissociate immediately? It could be putting on headphones. Okay, I'm going to give some space for myself to process this.
Yeah.
It could be walking away from that space, probably going into the bathroom or bedroom and doing a powerful breathing exercise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I have a 2-minute stress buster meditation, which has worked 100% for all my clients.
Awesome.
Right? And it immediately gives clear instructions to your brain to calm yourself down.
Okay.
Right? And the third thing is, when you say pushing the buttons, right?
Yeah.
I want to talk about what my kids do. I have 2 little kids and they have these remote control games. And when the battery runs out, they push the button and they're like, oh, it's not working. They throw that and they go away.
Yeah.
Right? When they push the button, there's probably some current behind it.
Yeah.
If we are getting triggered.
Yeah.
If I'm getting triggered because of that work colleague, and if them pushing the button is affecting me, there is probably room to heal.
Yeah.
Right? And it might not be that one person. It might be a pattern. It could be cross-generational.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right? It could be coming from a childhood trauma.
Yeah.
It could be coming from a success block or a belief that they're holding on to. Right? So when we find out what is that root cause, we'll be able to heal that very beautifully.
Absolutely. That's so refreshing and new to hear. I didn't know about this at all. So thank you for sharing. It's great. And it's a very different response than we usually refer to. We usually blame the person, but it's not the person, it's their trait. And maybe it could be an isolation or it could be a pattern. So that's a beautiful thought. Another thing that I have observed, mainly unfortunately again in India, is that a lot of girls growing up, they, like, it is so sad, but they go through unwanted bad touch. I have not yet met any women who will say that I have not experienced this even once in my life. There is not even a single woman. And sometimes some people have supportive parents. They help them to, process that healthily and move forward from there. Some people just tell their kids to move on. Some people don't even believe their child. They'd rather believe their relative or their friend who is accused of this abuse. So how does that's a very serious situation, and obviously, and it shapes up who you are as an individual when you grow up as well. So how does one address it as an adult? Because the thing has happened in the past, maybe now. So how do we process that as an adult and move on from there, or maybe heal from there? Move on is not the right word, I guess. Heal from there.
It is a sad situation.
Yeah.
It breaks my heart, right? And 90% or more than 90% of the women that I help, they've had episodes of this. It starts from bad touch all the way to different levels of sexual abuse.
Horrible.
Yeah. And it just breaks your heart to see that they've gone through it, number one.
Yeah.
Which is not right.
True.
Number two, they're blamed for it.
Yeah. Victim shaming.
They are blamed for it. And they think taking that blame is the right thing as a girl.
Yeah.
Just because they are a girl, they're expected to take that blame and behave better or dress better or protect themselves. I still remember when I was in school, I used public transport, right? And I remember every day I was asked to pull my core up and stand like this, so that if I'm like this, there might be a bad touch.
Yeah. Right.
So it was about me. It was about me, right? So, and the worst part of this, what really, really bothers me is when these girls come and tell their parents, they do not give that support. They in fact they don't believe these girls.
Yeah.
And these girls who become women, they feel that their parents or their mother has actually broken up with them.
Oh, okay.
They feel that betrayal from their own parents, that they've not been there for them in their most difficult time.
Right.
Because that child doesn't know that something has happened in the first place.
Right.
Right? They're trying to process it. By the time they try to process, they are 18, 19. And then they're like, that was wrong.
Yeah.
And when I told my mother, if I have to take an example of my client, right, it was the mother's brother who was continuously abusing this child for so long.
Oh my God.
And this child, she had a sister as well. So they used to take a bag of apples every day in their bag just to protect in any shape or form if they can hit with the bag of apples and run away.
My goodness.
Right? And that's just one story. And when they had told their parents about it, they were not supportive. And this child used to come home every day, take a kajal and draw all over her face thinking she is dirty.
Oh God.
And when she was wanting to heal this, when she walked into her marriage,
Yeah.
and then she loved her husband. It was a love marriage. She loved her husband, but she was not able to become intimate with him in reality.
Oh.
Even though she loved that intimacy with him.
Yeah.
So that is when she was like, okay, there's a mismatch.
Yeah.
There's a mismatch and something needs to change right now. Because who has taught us growing up, Soumya, that, okay, you need to look after your mental health. Okay, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
What is going on in your mind?
Yeah.
It is all about a chart of things that is like morning to night that we have to perform as a role.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Actually, mental health is considered as a weakness. If you say that you are feeling some type of way, you would be termed as weak. And our parents don't want us to be weak. They want us to be strong. So yes, there is no space to tell that, yes, I am suffering or I need help. No, some people do have, but it is what it is. Yeah, absolutely. And this is a very sad situation. And I also have known so many women who have faced this, and it shakes their confidence. It completely destroys their confidence. And these women are educated, they are working, and I see so many times that in meeting, when sometimes you just have to speak up, and nobody will necessarily ask for your opinion, but we are all brainstorming. Maybe I've seen guys, I don't mean to make this a gender issue, but I have seen men are usually more confident, irrespective of whether they are 100% sure about their answer or not. They feel comfortable to talk about it. They're like, okay, if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's fine. They feel free to give their opinion. But women, on the other hand, unless they're 100% sure that, okay, yes, this is the right answer, they don't speak up, and they miss out on opportunities because of that. Because they're very capable, but if you don't put yourself out there, how will other people know what you're capable of? So, yeah. Do you also have clients who have these issues, and how do you help them?
We women, right?
Yeah.
Every woman, she's a fireball. She's a fireball. She's born that way. She's made that way. And I'm being a mother of 2 kids. We are capable of being a vessel to produce life. Can you believe that?
Right.
Do you think going for a corporate role, being a part of a meeting, leading, speaking is anything hard for her?
Right.
Yeah. I'll give you an example of a client, right? She was in this office with her dad and she went in for a home loan.
Okay.
Right? It's not a home loan, sorry. It was an education loan for her.
Okay.
Right? And she's a young girl. She was probably 17, 18. And she was just like, hi. And her dad expected her in that room to just almost bow down and say, hello, how are you? Oh, yeah, I'm going to study this. Like extra humbleness or whatever you want to call that.
Okay.
Right? Like, and she was like, why, Papa?
Yeah.
And she was like, he's the one who's approving your loan. Right? So almost like, hello, uncle. Yeah, I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I still remember very clearly in my session with my client, she was like, it took a very long time for her to start standing tall.
Yeah.
Right? Because she was made to feel that her space in that room is probably very small.
Yeah.
And she carried that for a very long time. And she got married. Yeah, this girl is a beautiful, beautiful soul. She's such a topper in her class, in her UG and all of that. And she got selected on campus. She went to the US. She is in the US now. She's in New York. And she's from Bangalore.
Yeah.
Her parents were just living one road away from her in-laws.
Okay.
That's where she was staying. And she went through so much of trauma after she got married that she was not allowed to go and meet her parents. She was not allowed to see her parents for Diwali. She was not allowed to wear the jewels that her parents have given. So
Oh
much
my
of
God.
restrictions from her in-laws. So all that ended up in her getting thyroid.
Oh.
And you know where it was showing? One, it showed in her health. You know that those 5 areas we
Yeah.
spoke about? It is not just one. We think we go to work, we leave home and we go. No, it's the being that is going to work.
Right.
All those 5 are connected. If one gets affected, her thyroid was affected, number one, right? And then she started going for work. She should actually excel from her expectation of herself.
Right.
But for 23 years, she got no promotion.
Oh.
And she saw freshers come in, grow, leave. Year after year, she saw that and she thought probably she's not cut out for this. She started doubting her abilities until she started working with me. She was like, Lydia, this is what is happening. I don't know what's happening because she was not getting increment.
Okay.
Just after 6 sessions of working with me, she was able to heal all those places, just like how you mentioned.
Yeah.
She was not willing to step up and speak because she always thought that she had a very less space, and taking up more space in a room or a conversation is showing pride. It is not being a woman.
Yeah.
Not being feminine enough. And you're going against what your dad has told you.
So sad.
That her dad passed away, I think 6 years ago. Still, she was trying to seek validation from a dad who was not even present. Like, can you believe the stories and narratives that we get caught up in?
Yeah.
It was so real for her. Even when we were healing those spaces, there was so much of guilt.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't believe, she didn't do anything. She didn't go and speak to her manager, nothing. When you heal, your situation, your marriage, your work, your business, your sales, your bank account starts healing. It starts mirroring who you are.
Right.
It's not like people say you're transforming into something new. No. It's like this diamond. It's coated with so much of soot and charcoal. You don't even know there is a diamond present.
Yeah.
You know what is healing? Trying to beautifully take each layer off, and then you're like polishing this and you're like becoming who you were born to be.
Yeah.
Without asking for a promotion, without asking for any sort of pay rise. Her manager called her. She had a couple of rounds of chats, and now she's got 40% pay rise already. She's like, where were you for so long?
Yeah.
Why are you in this space first? Like, for your experience, you should be here. Why are you here?
Yeah.
The same person who was the manager for so long.
Yeah.
And now she's leading a team, and she just came in for a holiday to Bangalore.
Okay.
Her brother runs a very successful business. He had to travel out for business. And he just said, hey, you just do this meeting for me.
Yeah.
And she took it up, and she has got so much of applause for leading that whole thing so beautifully.
Yeah.
The person who she was when she got into that room, to that bank home loan manager, to what all that marriage trauma and everything has created and what she's become. She's just become what she was meant to be.
Yeah.
Just by going to that space with lots of grace for herself and then healing layer after layer, one by one. That's all.
That's a beautiful example, Lydia. And I'm so happy for this lady. It warms my heart to hear that. Really beautiful. Another thing that I have noticed is even if women are working and they're earning money, they struggle to invest that money. There is a very high risk aversion. Many of my friends, they feel that FD and RD are the way to go. Even to put money in SIP, they are like, should I not? Oh, it's too risky. Why do you think we are wired like that?
I don't think we're wired like
We are not? Okay, thank goodness.
Our societal conditions, the home that we were brought up in, right? And what our previous generations have believed in.
Yeah.
This is science, okay? This is not some woo-woo or spiritual stuff or anything.
Yeah.
But Dr. Bruce Lipton, you can go and look up his work. Like financial struggles change your DNA expression, and that can be passed on from generation to generation. And
Okay.
that poverty cycle repeats until you switch off the gene,
Okay.
right? And when that poverty cycle repeats, you know that something is not right in the pattern that you're going through. For example, there was this client who was earning very well, really well. She was earning like 30K USD a month.
Oh, that's
a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right? But she was seeing that there was no savings. You're talking about FD and RD. She didn't even have that.
Oh.
And she had this dream home that she wanted to build and everything, but no properties invested. So nothing positive that she was able to contribute to.
Okay.
And that's because she believed that having a lot of wealth is bad.
Oh, money is evil.
Money is evil. Money is the root cause of all evil, right? People believe that, right? So when that belief is so strong in you, you yourself, Lydia, if she believes in that, she will sabotage that at every cycle.
Yeah.
Right? People say, my debt, how much ever I earn is not enough.
Yeah.
People come to me. That's one of the things that people come to me. They're like, how much ever I earn, I feel it's not enough. Why? That's because that debt cycle repeats because you're holding on to certain beliefs, which are money blocks and success blocks. So I've identified like 13 money blocks and 30 success blocks.
Okay.
That can hold a human back, right? It could be, I am not good enough. Or if I bring money into my family or build wealth, I have to sacrifice on time with my husband or family or children. So just before a great opportunity comes, they themselves self-sabotage that unknowingly. Because 97% of our decisions and being is run from the subconscious mind. So if you look at the subconscious mind, it's just like a computer software.
Yeah.
And what we repeat becomes stronger.
Right.
And the more we repeat, the more we believe more and more in these blocks, which we think is right. It's my values and I'll pass it on to generations. Some people believe that money doesn't grow on trees. Do you have a money tree? They ask. Right?
I wish.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So money doesn't grow on trees. What does that mean? It's not easy to make money. So be very careful with money. Be very wise with money. Right? Scarcity mindset kicks in. And then you start believing that making money is hard. So they are all connected.
Right.
Right? And it could even come from a fear of losing an identity, which is your old belief. And that is why people get stuck in that same pattern. Because your subconscious is like that new person that you're thinking, an abundant mindset, an abundant person wanting to build generational wealth. You've never seen somebody like that. And your subconscious mind will be like, you're not from that line of family.
Yeah.
Who are you to do this? It's better and safe just be here.
Right.
Right? Our comfort zone of fear becomes our stuckness. We think that anchor is actually holding us. There is security there. There is safety there. But actually we are being stuck, not even opening up to the potential that we are born with.
Right. That brings me, like, you mentioned that your client was interested in buying a beautiful home. Mm-hmm. I feel these days, people from my generation, I've seen, we are at this point where we are expected to make a lot of big decisions. Mm-hmm. And we kind of feel like we are all faking being an adult. The thought of taking these big decisions is really just so overwhelming. And I just want to go back and maybe watch stupid TV series again and not think about these. And procrastination is so strong. And when I talk to my friends, everybody is thinking on these lines. Like, none of us really want to do these things we are being made to.
And procrastination can come at you like a ton of bricks. Yeah. Saying, Lydia, you're so lazy. Lydia, you don't want to take responsibility.
Yeah.
Right? Those are two things that will be spoken about me, right? If I say I'm procrastinating, right? Or you don't want to own up to your responsibility, you are lazy and things like that. But I want to tell a good news.
Yeah.
Procrastination is none of that.
Oh, I'm not lazy.
You're not.
Yay.
Neither am I.
Yes, we are not lazy.
No,
Yeah.
no. Nor am I wanting to run away from my responsibility. There is something deeper.
Yeah.
When we are procrastinating, it means that we have a deep fear towards something or facing something. That is something probably unpleasant, or it might not be. But we are thinking, the narrative in my mind says it could be unpleasant.
No, right.
For example, one of my clients, right, through certain situations in her life, her sugar levels skyrocketed like 10 times than normal.
Oh.
Right? And the doctors were shocked. Like, this person is non-diabetic.
Yeah.
Her parents don't have diabetes, right? And out of the blue, it just skyrocketed. And they're wondering what's happening with her, right? And then for the last 2 years, she's been trying to manage it on and off. So every 3 months, you should do your blood test and have a check on your HbA1c if it is okay and things like that. For 2 years, she doesn't do.
Oh.
Like 2 years.
That is so risky.
It is very risky. And she has 2 different machines in her house to test, right? But she's never pricked herself with that. Her husband has to do it for her. And if he is not in the picture, she's like very happy. And she would go into blood tests and she would never go and get the report, right? It can look on the surface as if she's procrastinating. She's not owning up to responsibility.
Yeah.
Like, would someone even procrastinate their own blood test and results? It could look like all of that on the surface.
Yeah.
When she came to me, we uncovered what is actually happening beneath the surface. What was actually happening was she was so scared. She was so scared of that blood result that she didn't want to face it. But all her reports, right, when it was collected, it was all on point.
Oh. So the fear of the report was greater than the actual report itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's in a space where she's almost reversed her diabetic situation because it was related to something emotional that we are going through. That is why this person, right, this is Lydia, this is Soumya, this is Ramya, this could be you, whoever's watching. And all these 5 areas, your health, your success, your money, your relationships, and your mental peace. All these are connected. They contribute positively to each other and to you.
Yeah.
When there is an inner trauma, turmoil happening, they all get affected.
Right.
Right? So this lady, when we uncovered, that is the root cause, real root cause. It is not eating carbs.
Yeah.
It is not crazily going on fizz drinks. No, it was beyond that. When we rewired that, when we went to that place with lots of love and almost a painless approach, that's when the magic happened.
Oh.
So don't worry. Procrastination is not going to judge you.
Yeah.
It just gives a symptom. It means that your body is working fine. Your being is fine, which means it gives us an awareness.
Yeah.
The more quicker we become aware, the more quicker we heal. You're like, okay, am I procrastinating doing this? Okay, what is it telling me?
Yeah.
What is behind those questions you can ask yourself? What is behind that procrastination? Let me be this little girl, curious enough to ask, what is behind that?
Yeah.
Or is it that fear? Is it a scarcity mindset that is coming up? Is there a success block?
Yeah.
Or is it a trauma response?
Yeah.
Right? So
absolutely.
I hope it helps. Yeah.
It definitely does. It reminds me of one story when I was I think in 10th or 11th, there was this mathematics teacher. And, a lot of kids in the class are usually, they run away from mathematics, right? So what he would say was, whenever we are solving a paper, normally our tendency is to solve the easier questions first. But he would say when you are practicing, you solve the difficult questions first. You face it head on. You don't keep it for later. You get it over with. You solve it. And he would say, there's nothing to be scared of this question. You solve it first, and that will give you the confidence to go through the little ones, and you will, win over everything in no time. And I really like that approach. So I would see, okay, which is the most difficult question? We would solve it first. And I was like, okay, now I have done this, but these are a piece of cake, right? So that, I think that also might help. I don't know, but that approach really, it stayed with me for almost 15 years. It still makes sense to me to just head on. Whatever the challenge is, you just take it and go through with it.
Absolutely. In what you said, what stood out to me is the awareness piece.
Yeah.
You look at the question paper or you look at your day.
Yeah.
And the awareness that, okay, this is little heavy.
Yeah.
This is little lighthearted. Okay, let me go to this place first.
Yeah.
And then this will just flow automatically.
Yeah.
But head on can work for some people, right?
Yeah.
Different modalities can help in that head on. But if you want a gentle approach, so be it. Go for it. If head on works for you, go for it.
Yeah.
Right? That gives what you just mentioned gives beautiful awareness about your own self. Okay, Soumya is this person. She can do this. Lydia is this person. Do it that way.
Yeah.
So awareness is key.
Yes. And I think whatever works best for themselves, you should choose a path that makes most sense to you. And I think that is what you help people identify, because there is no one approach, right? If I'm stating it correctly, that would work for everyone the same way. You look at them, their individual case, and you help them in a way that makes sense for them. Right? But I must ask you, Lydia, 8,000 plus people you have helped, and such heavy stories. I mean, these are not easy things. Some of the stories that you shared, it's even difficult to listen to them. These are difficult things people have gone through, and they're coming to you for help. So you are also human at the end of the day, right? Does these things take a negative impact on you? Do you find it challenging? Do you feel drained? How do you keep Lydia safe while helping so many people?
Beautiful question. Because when I tell people about what I do, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, oh, that should be very draining for you.
Yeah.
It should be very hard, which is true. It's not a normal thing a normal person does on a daily basis. But I have to confess that I'm made for it. I've realized that I'm made for it. And not just that, I've realized, how did I realize I'm made for it?
Yeah.
By going through my own childhood and adulthood trauma.
Oh, okay.
Right? I've had my own share of childhood and adulthood trauma. And when I grew up is when I started understanding, oh, wow, this has happened. That's right. Your mind might forget. Your body never forgets. It always remembers. Right. And in a safe time is when it brings it up.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a safe time is when it brought many things up for me. When my husband proposed to me, that night only I came to know many things that happened when I was 3 years old.
Okay.
I had to check with my mother as to, I'm getting all these visions. What is that? Right? And my mother, she was crying and she was like, all these things happened. Right? Till then, I never remember for 25 years. So I've had my own share of those, and I've been searching for answers. I've gone for years of counseling, talk therapy, hypnosis, NLP, you name it. I've tried everything. I would get probably a temporary relief, but where I got my full, complete relief is through MAP. Which is where I took that path of going down that completely and getting certified. So when I started MAP, right, I was a business coach before that. When I started MAP, I wanted to find something that is actually holding people's complete potential back. Because I would see in my client that they would do 100K months, the next will be 0.
Oh.
And then after 3 months, it will be a dry season. So feast famine cycle was happening in their business. But I can see the potential, but they can't. So they get into that loop. So I went to MAP to find out what is actually happening at the back end.
Yeah.
But when I went to MAP, they were like, by the way, you have to take 75 sessions for yourself before you get certified. I was like, I think I'm totally fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like how you say.
Yeah.
The laptop
I'm fine.
story, right?
Yeah.
I think I'm fine. I've spent a lot of money and time
Yeah.
healing all of this.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's okay. Still go through the process. That is when I was like able to understand there was so much more deeper that was lingering. And I was
Yeah.
able to address that so quickly,
Mhm.
gently, and almost completely painless.
Wow.
And that's when I understood the power of MAP.
Yeah.
So in MAP, right, the superconscious does the work, not me. Right.
Okay.
And since I've gone through this by myself, when someone explains, even I do not have to go through that trauma for me to be able to relate to them.
Yeah.
That compassion comes automatically.
Right.
Because I don't see that person for what they present, but what they have probably gone through. And I know that in one session we can do this.
Yeah.
In one session they can walk free. Yes, no matter what they've gone through, in a couple of sessions, through the Trauma to Triumph program or whatever is the pathway, I can be of some help to them. So because of that, I'm like, yeah, I know that compassion comes automatically for me and it doesn't affect me. I don't know how, but it doesn't affect me. I obviously have practices where I do in such a way that it doesn't impact my body and all of that after every session. But when I'm out of my office, all of that stays there. So,
Right.
yeah. So, yeah, that's my
secret.
yeah. But I also, and at the same time, while I'm helping people, I have invested into my own coach.
Right.
I spend a lot of money, but I know that my success that I can give to my clients is based on what I am being held as well.
Right.
I wouldn't say I'm 100% there yet. I still have lingering beliefs. I still have lingering things that I have to still work on.
Yeah.
But I know this process works, and that's why I've invested there. At the same time, I'm holding space for these women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And at the end of the day, you're also a human going through your own life's journey. So yes, it absolutely makes sense that you would also need that support. Like
Totally.
the way you support your clients, you get that support from your coach. It's makes perfect sense. Yeah. Lydia, I do have one question because people of my generation have started having children. So we have become the parents now. And how do we break the cycle? What active steps we must take to ensure that we are not passing on any trauma to our children?
Yeah. Lovely question. And lots of women come to me from this space only.
Yeah.
Because they might even ignore themselves. But when it comes to their children, they're like, oh, I don't want this to go to them. Great place to start. First, start noticing on your daily basis, just 5 minutes at the end of the day. Just start noticing, did I yell unwantedly? Did I just lose it completely where I didn't want to? Which is most of the time we might be doing.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about an extreme or a pattern. Do you feel guilty that you're not working while you're with your kids?
Yeah.
And while you're working, are you thinking about your kids? So all these little symptoms of your day show that there is a misalignment.
Right.
When there is a misalignment, it means it is a trauma response.
Yeah.
Right? So the first point is always awareness, right? So that gives us awareness. Okay, there could be a misalignment. Where is it coming from?
Yeah.
Right? Start charting out where it could come from. Go to an expert, right? To heal that root cause. But if not, on a daily basis, start noticing that, okay, these things are happening.
Yeah.
And how do you not pass on to them? Know that these generational patterns have come to you probably because of your lived experiences.
Yeah.
Or it could be intergenerational. Similarly, it could go to them as well. First step is to heal yourself.
Right.
You will change.
Yeah. And I think having the right partner with you also helps a lot because it's a collective, it's a group, it's a team effort. It's yeah. So that brings me to my next question. So many women say that they're always attracted to toxic relationships or men who are not right for them. Why does that happen, and how can we stop that or find the person who fits with our needs perfectly or who fits who we are perfectly? How do we find the right person for us?
$1 million question. Right? In an easy way, if I have to put it right.
Yeah.
Start looking at yourself
Yeah.
and start heal that little girl
Mm.
who was wounded first.
Right.
Yeah. Only a wounded child or a girl will start seeking for external validation,
Yeah.
external love, external support. External support is good, but
Yeah.
to that extent that she thinks she's not good enough, she's even willing to settle at this
Yeah.
while she deserves this.
Yeah.
And she'll always settle for this because she thinks she might not get this.
Yeah.
And at least settle for this, no?
Yeah.
I'll at least have somebody to do life with, right? So her self-worth is questioned from all those wounds that are still raw.
Yeah.
Right? Let's say I get hurt inside my muscle here. Do you think putting a band-aid outside will heal that wound that is inside?
Yeah, absolutely.
Won't it? Won't, right?
Yeah.
But we think putting a band-aid will help. So go to that place of that little girl who was wounded and understand how beautiful, how fierce, feminine, lovely you are. And you are good enough to be loved by yourself in the first place.
Yeah.
Bring that self-love. Self-love and self-care has been diluted so much that it's about head massage, doing your nails, all of that.
Yeah.
Right? That could be few things that you could do for yourself. Yeah. Good starting point. But go to that little girl who deserves that love.
Yeah.
Who can have a chai with herself.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And she'll feel like $1 million no matter what. Then you'll be attracting only the right person.
Absolutely. And you're absolutely right, Lydia. First, we have to love ourselves, accept ourselves as who we are. Only then we can expect others to accept us as who we are and, love us for that. Yeah. I do have one more question. Like, your program, Trauma to Triumph, has a very high success rate. And what is the reason? Like, you have helped so many people and almost everyone has gotten good results. What is the reason behind your high success rate? How does that work, if we can understand? And
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I've obviously trialed so many things, right, before I came to this place. But what makes Trauma to Triumph work like this is I do the healing chronologically. So it's a 12-week program. Right from preconception, we start healing that cell, that little girl. Before she was conceived, then she was in vitro. The child grows in the mother's womb.
Right.
There is delivery trauma, let it be C-section or natural labor. Then the child grows. So year after year, we heal anything that has happened in their life till today.
Okay.
So that leaves nothing, no stone unturned, right?
Yeah. And they don't even need to remember the incident or the trauma that happened, because I don't remember my birth trauma for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
None of us do, right?
Yeah.
Unless our parents or mom tells us about it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So known trauma, unknown trauma.
Yeah.
That can be healed as well.
Right.
Intergenerational trauma.
Yeah.
Right? That can be healed as well. So it's like a holistic reset button that they get to press on their life.
Oh.
And it is, their past will not change.
Right.
But their emotion that is attached to that narrative will change.
Yeah.
Right? So 2 neurons have those emotions in between. That narrative will change.
Yeah.
Right? So with MAP, the beautiful thing is you can go to that place without reliving that trauma.
Yeah.
You don't have to, one time to go through trauma itself is hard.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How about you deal with it in a very gentle way? Right?
Yeah.
So that's a reason, like no stone, no season of your life is unturned. So that's why they are able to get that complete healing and they get lifetime access as well.
Okay.
So if, let's say, any part of their life is like, okay, I want to heal that teenage trauma.
Yeah.
Something is coming up again from there. They go to that session, they re-watch it, redo it, and they're back to their full potential and self as well.
So you do it once and you have a lifetime access to it. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So amazing, Lydia. I'm really happy we had the opportunity to have this chat. I think we have discussed some of the issues which are going to greatly help people. These are some very important issues on which you have helped greatly with your expertise to raise the awareness that is needed. And I'm pretty sure people will benefit from it greatly. And guys, if you have any more questions, you can always reach out directly to Lydia. We are going to share her details in the caption below, description below. So please reach out to her directly. And we wish you lots of health, happiness, and success. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lydia, for coming.
Absolutely, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's do a cheers with chai.
Yeah.
Yeah.